We took the ferry over Lago Buenos Aires, as it was just too large and exposed to paddle safely. From the farther shore, we began our longest hiking section yet. A 60-kilometer crossing of the deserted plateau of Patagonia National Park. That evening, we enjoyed our last views looking back at the mountains we'd come from, before setting off the next morning into the wilderness. As we climbed higher, we began meeting the true inhabitants of this wild landscape, the guanacos. There is no doubt that this is their true home. They just seem to fit in perfectly. Unlike us, to whom this barren scenery seemed rather challenging and hostile. The plateau stretched on endlessly, a wasteland to our eyes. There were no human footprints for 3 full days, only those of the guanaco. Carcasses littered the ground, and vultures circled the skies above, a reminder of the natural cycles of any true wilderness. There was one last brutal section of road to hike before we arrived at the lakes. 2 vibrantly blue mountain lakes, totally contrasting the monotonous grayscale of the plateau we'd just crossed. Patagonia National Park is stunning. We truly felt immersed in nature. Lago Verde was a turquoise treasure. I couldn't believe I was living this moment. It all felt so surreal. After the magical lakes, we continued on foot again, following the valley, hiking in the riverbed, often forced to ford the freezing waters. We soon left that valley for another, crossing over via an easy path, but on weary legs. We were headed for the waters of Rio Chacabuco, which would take us all the way to the fjords again. We had camped right by the river, so that in the morning we would be ready to simply get in the rafts and go. Now, while I was happily eating my breakfast in my tent that morning, we had some surprise visitors. A herd of guanacos were crossing the river, heading for the mountain pastures. Rio Chacabuco started small and fast, with lots of interlacing different streams to paddle, but little time to decide which was the best route. I was finding that it was always the small rivers and streams that were the more interesting ones to paddle. The wider they got, well, the more dull they became, even boring at times. But this river was just perfect for the rafts. Bubbly and quick-paced, it carried us on into a new adventure. We ended the day with a final portage, hiking around the pretty but treacherous gorge section of the river. Of course there were no footpaths where we were heading, so we followed the guanaco trails instead, admiring their ability to effortlessly run up the steep loose slopes. Again, we camped by the river, ready for another day of paddling. A day beginning with a rapid and a surf has got to be a good one. With all the short portaging we were doing, we had become highly proficient at packing up all of our gear, and setting it up as well, of course. We had it down to a casual 10-15 minutes each time. Take off backpack, set up paddle, unroll raft, inflate, top up with a pump, get changed into dry suit, change shoes, put on the safety equipment, repack the bag, carry boat to the water, attach the bag, and go. You see? Very quick. Go, 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 go. After sending the last rapid and eating our last ration of food, Rio Chacabuco flowed into Rio Baker, which we soon left behind in order to restock on food in the nearby town of Cochrane. Luckily, we were saved from another sweaty walk by a local guy with a pickup truck. Way! This was certainly one of my favourite sections of the trip. If it was yours too, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.